Lesson 10-3, Angle Pairs. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to identify linear pairs, complementary angles, adjacent angles, and vertical angles. Make sure you have your pencil and paper ready so you can work right along with me. So this is the first definition you'll need to write down for your notes. Complementary angles. Those are two angles whose measures have a sum of 90 degrees. Each angle is said to be the complement of the other. Here we have an example of that. We have angle ABC, and that one is 37 degrees. Then we have angle DEF, or FED, and that one is 53 degrees. When you add those together, they equal 90 degrees, so those are complementary angles. Our next vocabulary word is supplementary angles. These are two angles whose measures have a sum of 180 degrees. Each angle is said to be the supplement of the other. Here we have the examples of supplementary angles. We have angle GHI, and that's 57 degrees. Then we have angle LKJ, that's 123 degrees. So when those are added together, we get 180 degrees, so those are supplementary angles. Our next definition is adjacent angles. Those are two angles that are in the same plane and share a common side and a common vertex, but have no interior points in common. Here we have the example of adjacent angles. We have angle 1, which is actually NOM, and angle 2, which is NOP. Now, they have this common side here, they have the common vertex here, but they have no interior points that are the same. NOP has no interior points, and NOM has no interior points in here. So that makes these two adjacent angles. Here we have an example of a linear pair. This looks like adjacent angles because we have the angle DBC and DBA, and they're sharing this common side and they're sharing this common vertex, which would look like it would be an adjacent angle. But when these are opposite rays, the angles form a linear pair. The angles are supplementary because right here we have the ray, so these would be a linear pair, angle 3 and 4, because when you add them together, they equal 180 degrees. So when it looks like an adjacent angle, but they form the 180 degrees along the bottom, or when you add the two angles together and they equal 180 degrees, it's actually a linear pair instead. Our last vocabulary word is vertical angles. Those are two congruent angles formed by intersecting lines. Their sides are pairs of opposite rays. And here's the example for that. So we have angles AED, right here, AED, and we have BEF. Those are vertical angles. So are DEB and AEF. Because when you see them, they're formed by intersecting lines. These two lines here, they intersect. And their sides are the pairs of opposite rays. Here are three examples of different angle pairs. I want you to find the value of x for each of them. So I want you to pause the video and then come back and check your work against mine. All right, for this first one here, we have 43 degrees and we have x. So we need to find out what this is. So if we look here, this is a right angle. I know that's 90 degrees. So I would say 43 plus x equals 90. So then I would solve for that. And I would subtract over here. and subtract 43 from this side, and x equals 47 degrees. All right, I hope that's what you got for the first one. For the second one, we have x plus 75 equals, and this part right here, that's 180 degrees, I remember. So 180. So then when I subtract 75 from both sides, I get x equals 105 degrees. And for the last one, I have 3x over here and 45 degrees here. So I know that these are congruent angles, so this side has to equal this side. So I would write that as 3x equals 45. So they multiply here, so I need to divide. So x equals 15 degrees. All right, make sure you rewatch any part of today's video that you need to before heading off to do today's assignment.